Hello, all you folks out there in Radio Land. Put on your dancing shoes. Gather round, 'cause I've got a treat for you. Coming to you live from our studios.
My name is Allison Shockley, and my fiance Danny Caudle and I are traveling all 50 states of America on something we like to call the Magical Thinking Tour. We've pretty much knocked out the entire West Coast, but we stopped in Fresno for a bit to fail an attempt at hauling our own hand-built teardrop trailer with a bicycle across country. After only 14 miles, our hitch broke. We threw up our hands and headed to San Diego to spend some time with my sister and her kids. Rebecca packed us all up and took us to Hollywood on our day off. My nephew Harper kept asking why he couldn't come with us, so I snatched up his toy and decided to take photos of it at every major landmark for him. Leaving my sisters was hard, but we need to meet our goal of all 50 states, so we got a day pass for the bus and headed east to Arizona. When the bus took us as far east as it possibly could go, we stuck our thumbs out, with Willie, of course. We caught a lot of short rides, leading us to the border of Arizona.
We are just about to hit the desert.
Literally, look at that.
We just got dropped off 2 exits out of El Cajon, and you can definitely tell we are not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
We spent our first night in, where are we at? Aspen? No.
So we rode the bus and got a few short rides, as you know, to Alpine.
Alpine.
We got dropped off. We were planning on riding the bus as far as we could until like 11 o'clock until it quit, but unfortunately in the area that we were in, we couldn't go any more east. So we ended up here at a little bus stop. We literally slept behind the bench at the bus stop. It really sucked because it was on an incline and on rocks. And my shoulder was already messed up from hula hooping. But now I guess I'm just bitching, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a nice, it's actually nice to sleep, and I felt safe.
This guy didn't even want to go to sleep. He wanted to just meditate on the bench all night. This place smells like the bathroom. This is a spot where you can stop right here and like there's really no traffic. Like when there's traffic, obviously the car it's not too bad. So people go to the bathroom right there. Look, they stopped and went to the bathroom. See all the toilet papers?
Yeah.
People were stopping last night. I woke up and the pregnant girl was getting out. I peeked my head up and she looks over like, what the heck? Is there somebody sleeping over there?
We're gonna see if we can't find a restaurant of some sort and stores. We need to get a toothbrush, Excedrin, and some food and coffee. Come on.
We never did find any food or coffee. We were pretty much in the middle of nowhere. At one point, during our wait for a ride, we decided to take a spoonful of turmeric. Gross! Right after that, we caught a ride with Matthias, a German man on holiday. He probably thought our breath smelled like dirt, but he was polite enough not to say anything. He had a huge love of travel and said America was the best he'd seen so far. Yay, America! El Centro scared us a bit, so we got a room.
Get that door, little lady.
Yes.
My mom told us about a casino bus line that would take us all the way to Yuma for only $2. Yuma was so hot, but very friendly. We noticed a shift as soon as we stepped off the bus. A giant wave of heat, but a sea of friendly smiles.
Okay, we just got done busking.
Yeah, I sing too.
Yeah, Allison joined in on the street performance today.
And a lady said, "You
Right.
I mean, most people said that Danny was good.
Now, Allison brings a lot to the table.
But this lady said, you guys are good.
So now we're walking to Target, which is about 2 miles, and we're gonna get our ticket to go to Grand Canyon that we earned.
I really wish I had packed one summer outfit.
The Greyhound bus we were trying to take didn't leave until 11 a.m. We were just going to sleep on a bench, but our friend Anders, whom we met in Santa Barbara, popped up out of the blue on social media and said to go to the nearest hotel. When we got to the hotel, he was already on the phone with the clerk and said he would get us a room as long as Danny played her a song, which of course he did. The next morning when we went to catch our bus, the driver was trying to hustle us out of our money. I was so pissed that even when he dropped the price back down to its regular price, I was already packing my bag and was heading to the nearest freeway to hitchhike. But that's when Adam picked us up, aka AJ, a sweet man who works for the railroad. I guessed right off the bat that he had 2 daughters. I could just tell by his easygoing personality. He was so kind, he bought us lunch and gave us all the extra money he had in his wallet. He gave us more than just money. He gave us knowledge about the railroad system as well. It's people like Adam that make the Magical Thinking Tour possible. Adam took us as far as Casa Grande, Arizona. After Adam dropped us off, we weren't as lucky. A very creepy gentleman who was drinking and driving picked us up. He kept speaking of God in a dark manner and kept expressing his needs for young women as he was trying to make eye contact with me through the rearview mirror. I almost asked to be let out of the car, but luckily it was a short ride. He dropped us off in Chandler, Arizona. In Chandler, we sat in a truck stop to connect to social media, when Danny got an instant message from a friend of a friend. Danny went to school and has written some music with his buddy Devin James. Devin told his photojournalist friend Song River about our adventures. One thing led to another, and Song messaged Danny to tell us we were in her area and she wanted to do a story on us. Our spirits were so high we decided to use the bus money we made in Yuma, but never used for the Greyhound, on a hotel room, even though the only place around was an expensive casino.
Oh my god!
Hello. We are serious. Hi, I'm Danny. My hands are full.
I do hug. Allison.
Yep.
I go by Allie as a nickname, so
That's funny.
May I call you Allie?
you may.
Awesome.
You don't have to call me Song.
Alright.
This is you guys, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're doing something I've always wanted to do.
Song River picked us up at the Crazy Horse Pass Casino in the morning. She's a photojournalist and a co-host for a radio show called The Hey Girls Show. She loves kids and is very in tune with them. She can predict the future when it comes to children. She adopted us as her own right away. She had a meeting to go to at a cafe in Tempe, so she asked us to go with her. Before the meeting, she convinced the coffee shop to let Danny perform. During his performance, she started asking me what our next step was. When she realized we didn't have the next step, her mommy senses started to kick in. Her and her future business partner, Noe, looked up bus lines and found a shuttle leaving the next day. So she decided to take us home with her for the night. She fed us, let us do laundry, packed us lunch. You know, all the usual mom things.
We needed it. He did. Thank you. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. Love you. Be safe. Oh, you guys will be in my prayers, okay? All right.
Thank you for everything, Carrie. You know, you meet people and you have that connection with them, and there's a depth, and you can meet people that there's depth with, you know, and the connection with us just was extremely deep and rich, and I love you and appreciate everything that you did for Allison and I.
As she was saying goodbye to me, she didn't forget to slip in her prediction of our future together. She said, "Take care of the baby that's coming in the next year." Yeah, that didn't slip by me, Allie. We took the shuttle to Camp Verde, Arizona. As soon as we got off the bus, we stuck out our thumbs and caught a ride with Elizabeth. She was traveling into Sedona because she works at the subway there and had to drop off some chicken to them. Her stereo was broken. The volume couldn't turn down. So we were shouting at the top of our lungs about the sights we were seeing. Elizabeth told us about the vortexes in the area and about their healing energies. She also told us the names of the large rock formations. When Elizabeth dropped us off, we decided to drop into a visitor center. We got to talking with the girl who was working there, and she gave us her brother's number. She said he was a traveler and might be able to help us out. We called him, and he told us to come to Rimrock. So we stuck out our thumbs and decided to hitch in the opposite direction to meet him. And that's how we met Sage. He was standing at a gas station with a cowboy hat and a guitar strapped to his back. We picked his brain about cross-country hitchhiking, and he picked Danny's about music theory. He also showed us a nice place to sleep and camped with us. And don't forget about Loki. We love you, Loki! He also introduced us to his awesome friends Ben and Chloe. The next day we crammed into the back of Chloe's car and went to Bell Rock in search of a vortex. Ben is full of useful information and is a natural tour guide. It was awesome to learn from him. And Chloe is just as sweet as pie. She speaks so calmly and peacefully that she makes every muscle in your body relax and makes your anxiety go away. Bell Rock was awesome. We followed the twisted trees to the vortex. I didn't necessarily feel any different after we found it. Ben, on the other hand, had a reaction like a caffeine high. It's funny because Danny and I really don't consider ourselves hikers, while Ben leapt from rock to rock like a monkey. It was so awesome to meet like-minded people, fellow travelers. During the hike, they kept telling us about this nearby city called Jerome. Every time I heard the name, I got chills. I knew I had to go there. So Chloe and Ben gave us a ride there in the morning.
Yeah, there's a lot of quirky things here. It's a good little town. It's kind of romantic, I think. So.
It's got a rustic feel to it, for sure.
For sure. This is built right on the side of a hill.
Like I said, they're not sure if it's going to fall into a mine shaft or fall off the side of the mountain.
But one or the other.
One or the other. You guys know Tool, right?
Yeah.
Perfect Circle?
Uh-huh.
What's his name? Maynard is from Jerome. He has a winery here. I think that actually is his winery, straight behind us.
His shop is up there.
Yeah, he has Pucifer is actually here too.
Pucifer.
There goes the monkey. As soon as we got into Jerome, we hit a coffee shop. And that's where we met Lauren, who offered us her guest house. Soon after that, we met Mr. Bryce Woods. He noticed Danny's guitar and immediately started conversing with him about music. He shared a newspaper article he had just found about his musician father, who had passed away. I caught wind that Bryce was an artist, so I walked over to the art gallery while the boys were talking to check out his work. I even bought one of his greeting cards and sent it to Song River. One thing led to another, and the boys decided to retire to the cafe shop patio to swap music.
Behold the way our fine feathered friend his virtue doth parade. Thou knowest not, my dim-witted friend, the picture thou hast made.
The crazy thing about Jerome is you can't walk the streets without making a new friend and sitting with them for hours, getting to know each other. Bryce led to meeting Dave, a crazy good one-man band, loved and boasted about by all of Jerome.
Heaven.
Jerome is
It
wonderful.
just keeps getting better and better. You're here long enough, you can introduce yourself to people, and if you're looking for a place or looking for anything, hey, word of mouth is where it's at. Nobody.
He happily shared his stories of the haunted town.
I was hosting an open mic up there, and I went up in the afternoon to set up the equipment. The bartender was back in the kitchen, and it was wintertime, so there was no windows, no vents, and I was standing there, and all of a sudden I felt this whoosh of air go by me. You know, like, first thought was, oh, there must be a window open. Oh, there's no vents. Told the bartender about that when he came back. Hey, I was standing here, all of a sudden I felt this air go by, like somebody walked by me real quick, yet there was nobody else in the room. And he said, that's nothing. Yesterday, he points over to this onyx chess set. Yesterday I was in here working, and all of them fell over at the same time.
Oh.
And there was no tremor or earthquake or anything, and nothing else. It was just like some spirit just knocked them over. And you know, people say some of the rooms are haunted. A lot of people went in there and never came out. It was old miners went in there and died, you know, and so.
After talking with Dave, we worked up quite an appetite. It being Hallows Eve and all, we decided to check out the haunted burger.
I'm scared.
Are you scared?
The haunted burger! And guess who is our server? Lauren, the girl who offered us the guest house. Well, not her, but her best friend. And the haunted burger turned out to be where Lauren worked. We scarfed up our burgers within minutes and hit the streets to make some money. And guess who ends up being in the apartment above us, peering out the window listening? Yep, Lauren. We wave her down and hang out for a bit, and then scurry off to meet up with Bryce Woods for dinner. This time meeting his wife, who was also a delight. Danny and Cheryl really hit it off. She is a technology expert, and they conversed all throughout dinner about the future of technology. I politely nodded as I stuffed my face with a $6 pizza. Bryce had asked Danny to accompany him to an open mic in Cottonwood. When we showed up, there was no one there, but the guys decided to make the best of it and pull out their guitars anyway. Eventually, people did show up, but they were musicians themselves, making it one big jam session. We cut out early and Bryce dropped us off with, drum roll please, Lauren. She's a really awesome chick, a painter. She is very deep and charismatic. She opened her home to us like she had known us forever.
That's like it. My roommate has been on this romantic excursion. She's been gone for like 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, she just left me this cat. I'm like, alright.
She hooks me up with a Halloween costume and drives us back into town for the Halloween festivities. Hey, stop staring at her butt. We then busk our Halloween away until we grow hungry. We also checked out a place for coffee. I don't think the place really even sold coffee on their menu, but nothing else was open, so they just whipped something up for us to make our night. After coffee, we dropped into Lauren's work, mostly just to make fun of her costume.
And flash me some titty.
She looks so proud of herself.
We heard a lot of spooky things about the Jerome Hotel, so we dropped in there too. But the event going on there only catered to drinkers, so we didn't stay long. The next morning, we said our goodbyes to Lauren and started hitchhiking to Flagstaff because we wanted to see the Grand Canyon.
I know. What the fuck? There must be cameras in this room, right? Is that the pool? It's the pool. Right in front of our room. We have a fireplace. Check this ditty out. Ooh! And everybody knows I'm a bath-taking fool. And you know, if you just want to shower. So Danny, what happened? How are you feeling?
Okay, so what happened is that we were hitchhiking. We get pulled over by this young gentleman named Ben. He's a little rough, tattoos, out of jail, in and out of jail. He has a gun under his leg, he's got a knife, all this stuff is like, but he's really like, he's really personable, I guess is the right word. He says that he works at this place called the Southwest Hotel. He comes in like he knows the place. He says he's gonna comp our room and about probably $200 after taxes, easy, per night. I'm just not sure if he's gonna steal my identity or not, because I gave him my credit card and my ID, which is standard. I mean, you have to, and you know, if the TV goes missing, and if anything like that, like if the art goes or the coffee maker or whatever, well then he has the means to pay it back. So that all makes sense. It's just like, whoa. I mean, seriously, like, talk about a gesture. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat. Row, row, gently down the stream. Gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
We seized the afternoon with bar food and a nice view. And we put off Flagstaff for another day. The next morning we began walking the streets of Sedona trying to find a freeway when Ali approached us and asked us if we needed a ride. He was on his way to Flagstaff, a very musical man with a soulful voice. He breathed positivity into us with every story he told. After playing in the park, we realized he had no place to stay, so we asked him to bunk with us. The next day, he showed us his favorite parts of Flagstaff, one being an amazing lookout point. We really wanted to see the Grand Canyon, so we parted ways and started hiking north. Michael picked us up next. He lived in the Grand Canyon because he worked there as a cook. He was just down in Flagstaff doing some shopping. He was very soft-spoken, so I didn't hear much of anything he was saying. I just rocked out in the backseat to his Green Day album. Bite my lip and close my eyes, take me away to paradise. The Grand Canyon has a free tram that takes you around the rim. So we picked up some groceries and found a cheap campground. We stayed 2 nights to soak in the view.
that if I were dead, I wouldn't have been able to meet you, and I wouldn't know what I would be doing right now. I would probably be bored and upset, working at my regular 9-to-5 job, and looking on the map, well, it's Arizona, and I'd be looking on the map, where's Sedona? I'll be looking on the map, where's Florida? And I would be a professional map reader.
You're funny. Come to find out, it's illegal to hitchhike in national parks. So we had to hike the entire way out. It took us most of the day. But that's because we never forget to stop and taste the pine nuts. As soon as we crossed over the exit line, we caught a ride by 2 restaurant owners from Quebec on holiday. They were so eager to help hitchhikers, they went out of their way to drop us back off in Flagstaff so we could get another cheap room to shower and rest. Something I learned on our travels of Arizona is to go with the flow, to be like water. Because the moment I try and swim against the current, I make things harder on myself. When I let go and go with the flow, I receive many gifts. As our friend Ali would say, let go of attachment. Stay tuned next time for our awesome adventures of New Mexico. If you have any questions or just liked what you saw, comment below. Don't forget to tell a friend about the Magical Thinking Tour. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you can keep track of our Magical Thinking Tour.